First, though, we want to get to Southern California, on alert this morning after getting hit by the largest earthquake there in 2 decades, sparking more than 160 aftershocks. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is in Trona, California, starting us off with the very latest. Eva, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. We are very near the epicenter of this earthquake here, and you can see the damage it's done here in the story. I just want to walk you through it. All of these bottles basically knocked around, many of them here broken on the ground. All the liquid that was inside spilled everywhere now. And if you keep following me, you'll see that's the case pretty much down every aisle. The power is back on, but the concern is far from over.
Holy
the largest earthquake in 2 decades, striking Southern California.
All units, we are on citywide earthquake.
3 earthquakes ranging between 4.5 and 5.6 magnitude have hit the coast of British Columbia this morning. They follow a larger quake that shook the tip of the northern Vancouver Island on Wednesday. And Stephanie Skandaris is following all of this for us. You join us now in studio. So, Steph, what more can you tell us about all of the earthquakes, the tremors? What does all this indicate?
Well, Earthquakes Canada says these 3 tremors struck within 11 minutes of each other, just around 6 a.m. Pacific time this morning. Now, let's bring up the map to show you exactly where this happened. All of it was in the area south of Haida Gwaii, north of Vancouver Island. The first was near the community of Port Hardy. The second and the largest was a few minutes later northwest of the community of Bella Bella, and the third was off Haida Gwaii. Now, a seismologist from the U.S. Geological Survey described these as aftershocks to that larger 6.2 magnitude quake that happened off the northern tip of Vancouver Island that happened overnight on Wednesday. That one was more than 200 kilometers west of Bella Bella.
Salute to America celebration drew thousands to the mall despite some rainy weather for a celebration that featured fireworks, tanks, and dazzling flyovers by the Blue Angels. Critics feared the event would devolve into a partisan rally, but the president steered mostly clear of politics, highlighting our country's unique history and those who sacrificed to make the American dream a reality.
Today we come together as one nation with this very special salute to America. We celebrate our history, our people, and the heroes who proudly defend our flag, the brave men and women of the United States military. As we gather this evening, in the joy of freedom, we remember that all share a truly extraordinary heritage. Together, we are part of one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of America.
At anchor in the shadow of the rock, with police boats in attendance, the oil tanker Grace 1. The sea may be calm, but the ship is at the centre now of an international diplomatic storm. Spain has revealed that the United States had been monitoring the ship's journey and passed that intelligence to the Gibraltar government.
This action arose from information giving the Gibraltar government reasonable grounds to believe that the vessel, the Grace 1, was acting in breach of European Union sanctions against Syria. In fact, we have reason to believe that the Grace 1 was carrying its shipment of crude oil to the Banyas refinery in Syria. That refinery is the property of an entity that is subject to European Union sanctions against Syria.
The Grace 1 is believed to have loaded with Iranian oil off the coast of the Gulf. The ship made it as far as Gibraltar, a British overseas territory at the entrance of the Mediterranean. Its final destination is claimed to be the Banyas refinery in Syria.
Police have smashed an alleged drug syndicate operating in New South Wales and taken almost $400 million worth of meth off our streets. The significant drug bust was the culmination of months of surveillance, and tonight 4 men are facing charges.
A huge haul of ice uncovered in cargo at a Sydney port. The men accused of bringing it into the country sprung.
It came in as 10 pallets of clothing, obviously contained within was a absolutely pure form of crystal methamphetamine.
Police allege 6 pallets had 500 kilograms of meth hidden inside. On the street, that's worth about $375 million. As part of the major sting, police seized $210,000 in cash and made 4 arrests. 55-year-old Canadian Chilo Kalu at a Hurstville shopping centre, 35-year-old Jinsu Kim on a street in Walleye Creek, Kim's brother and another man at Sydney homes.
Executions. That is how the UN described the Venezuelan government statistics, showing that 6,856 people were killed resisting arrest since the beginning of 2018.
Essential institutions and the rule of law in Venezuela have been eroded. The exercise of freedom of opinion, expression, association and assembly, and the right to participate in public life entails a risk of reprisals and repression.
A UN report headed up by former Chilean President Michelle Bachelet points the finger at a special forces unit within the Venezuelan police known as the FAES. Set up in 2017 ostensibly to tackle organised crime, this group is responsible for many of the extrajudicial killings, according to the UN, which also accuses the government of torture, a charge it denies. Some on the streets of Caracas fear the report is not enough.
Smiles and handshakes all around over a power-sharing agreement. A tentative roadmap of who's to govern until elections are called, the landmark compromise was heavily mediated by Ethiopian and African Union envoys.
The two sides agreed to establish a sovereign council to be shared with the military and civilians for 3 years or a little more.
During the 3-year transition period, the new ruling body would be led by the military half of the time, with the civilian leader at the helm for the other 18 months. Doubts remain over whether the military will indeed give up power, as sources say they would begin the rotation.
This agreement will be comprehensive. It won't exploit anyone, and it will fulfill all the ambitions of the Sudanese people and their revolution.
A young girl who became an internet hit with her parodies of US Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has deleted all of her social media accounts. That's after she and her family received death threats from supporters of the politician.
Like, hello America, AOC here again, but this time from Washington, D.C. Like, I also want to talk about socialism because socialism is so amazing. Like, socialism is actually short for social media. Did you know that? Like, I use social media, so I'm a socialist, and like 3 of the most successful countries in the world are socialist too. Venezuela, Facebook, and Twitter.
Ava will not be doing any more mini AOC content. The left's harassment and death threats have gone too far for our family. We have been getting calls on our personal phone numbers. For our safety and for our child's safety, we deleted all mini AOC accounts.
The first heatwave warnings of the year were in effect in Seoul as well as Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces today. Heat-related illnesses were reported and health authorities are advising people to keep hydrated and to avoid outdoor activities. Yoon Jung-min reports.
The first heat wave warnings of the year were issued on Friday, with temperatures reaching over 30 degrees Celsius nationwide. Some parts of the country saw temperatures go as high as 35 degrees Celsius, and Saturday is forecast to be even hotter. Heat wave warnings are issued when daily highs above 35 degrees Celsius are expected to last for more than 2 consecutive days. The heat wave is expected to last over the weekend, with the mercury soaring to 35 degrees Celsius in central areas.